Hello, good evening. Welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live on news up here at Desawe Kanda, also live on a 3FM 927 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also listen to us on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, and also on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. Coming up this evening, NPP steering committee in a crunch meeting over the petition by 9 flag bearer aspirants demanding a centralized special delegates votes. We'll tell you about it. Meanwhile, scores of polling station executives stormed the meeting venue to register their displeasure with the proposed decentralization system. We'll tell you about it and what's happening at the meeting venue as we speak here on Hot Additional 3FM 92.7. Also, we've got live updates and also the eyes on the NPP campaign team of Firebrand, a Sin Central Member of Parliament, Kennedy Ohen Japan, returning fire following criticisms over the MP's comments questioning the credentials of Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. We'll get you details of what's happening on Kennedy Ohen Japan's campaign team as we speak. Also, Parliament's Accounts Committee to demand answers from the Attorney General on actions taken against agencies and individuals referred for investigation and prosecution. We'll bring you details here on Hot Edition, and also the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, demanding immediate reinstatement of the interdicted headmistress of the West African Senior High School, WAS, Shine Ofori. Let's get into the details now. And the steering committee of the governing New Patriotic Party is locked up in a crunch meeting over a petition by 9 presidential hopefuls challenging the proposal to centralize the August 26th Special Delegates Congress. The 9, Alan Kojo Tremantin, Boachie Jakon, Dr. Osefri Akoto, Dr. Kofi Kunedo Apreku, Kobene Japan, Kennedy Japan, Adainimo, Kojo Poku, and Joe Gate, saying the decision to hold the Congress in all the 16 regions of the country will not serve the best interest of the party. Besides being costly, they argue a decentralized system will deny aspirants the opportunity to address the delegates. They are therefore demanding that all 900 special delegates converge at one center, one venue for the Special Delegates Congress to select 5 out of the 10 aspirants or the person seeking to lead the NPP as its flag bearer. Now, all aspirants except the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is in favor of the decentralized system. That gives you a clear pointer as to what is happening with respect to the NPP and the flag bearer race. 9 of the aspirants are opposing the decision by the councils, that's the NPP's steering committee, to have this Special Delegates Congress in a decentralized manner. They want it centralized, except Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He wants, according to from the information we're hearing from the quarters close to his campaign, he is not against the decentralized process. That, to many political watchers, gives a clear indication of what is happening within the NPP's flag bearer race, that there are 9 of the aspirants who are aligned in one specific direction, as against what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the Vice President, is really in favor of. But here's Colin Sousamankwa, he is former Member of Parliament for the Mensha North constituency and a spokesperson for Alan Chamantin, on why they prefer a centralized delegates system.
Let me state it here that New Patriotic Party is not a fan club. It's a political party be governed by the Constitution. Per the Constitution, provisions are made for special electoral college. And let me also state that there's no way in our Constitution which calls for decentralized conference at the regional level. Well, it was adopted or moved by some people through National Council in 2014. to have it at the regional level. That cannot be a cardinal precedent in the first place. What we are calling for is that, first of all, the number is not overwhelming. We're talking about 891 delegates, which we could converge in one centralized location to conduct it peacefully. I think it ensures more transparency, accountability, and security, and it also minimizes coercion, intimidation, and also extreme machination by the powers that be. And we would make sure that decision coming from the National Council will definitely be in tandem with this popular proposal being pushed by 9 out of 10 presidential hopefuls. And it beats my imagination that 9 out of 10 would push for something and the party will look on. No, I don't think that way. I think National Council would definitely affirm the proposal made by the 9 presidential hopefuls.
Well, so there you have it. You heard Collins Ozamanko, former MP for the Mencias North constituency, spokesperson for the Alan Kojo campaign team, speaking as to why they support the call for a centralized special delegates Congress to prune down the numbers of the presidential, that's a flag bearer hopefuls of the MPP, from 10 to 5. Well, we have some sights and sounds of what's happening at the meeting venue. Some polling station executives of the party have stormed the Alisa Hotel here in Accra, specifically the North Ridge venue of the meeting, to register their protest against the decentralized Congress. Wielding placards amid chanting, they urged party leadership to listen to the cry of these supporters that they should have a centralized special delegates voting.
What exactly are your concerns here?
It's about the special voting. We as a group, we have witnessed a lot of elections like that. And being in the party for some time now, we thought it is otherwise the election is taken at one place and not to split it into regions.
Okay.
So that is our protest for today.
You picked information that it will be split into regions, will be decentralized?
Yes, that is what we heard.
From which quarters?
It's from source.
Which source?
Yes, from a right source.
Okay.
That is what, from the information we had, we know very well that it is a Kong information. That is what we're making follow-up.
Okay, that the Congress is likely to be...
in the various regions. That is a special voting.
So why are you opposing it?
We are opposing it because we want the thing to be done at one place so that the monitoring and everything will be set. You know, when elections are taken at various areas, the attention cannot be focused on a particular place. But when it is at one place, we can focus our attention and make sure we monitor the election the way it's supposed to go. Who wins, wins. We are not behind anybody. We are not speaking for one particular candidate. But we are here to make sure that they hear from us and then they do the right thing for us.
So if at the end of the meeting today, the engagement they're having today, if it comes out that they'll still go ahead with the decentralized special election, what more do you have to do?
We don't have anything else to do. But that is our proposal to them, that they should do it at one particular area. If they will select a region for everybody to meet there and do, then we are fine with that. If they don't take our advice, then we have nothing to do.
So that's what's happening at the venue of this steering committee of the NPP's meeting. Very, very crucial ahead of the Special Delegates Congress. My colleague Noble Crosby is there. Noble, what more do we know about what's happening at this meeting?
Well, pretty much that's it, Alfred. So it's a meeting that began somewhere around 3 p.m. today with a steering committee of the NPP. And essentially it is to agree or disagree on whether or not to have the Special Delegates Congress, which is scheduled on August 26th, centralized or decentralized, meaning that whether it should be held at the various regions in the country or it should be held at a converged location where all the 900 delegates will meet and then decide whether or not to allow or decide which 5 of the 10 presidential aspirants is making it onto the ballot paper come November 4 for the selection of a flag bearer. Essentially, that is what is happening. And just before the meeting ended, we saw a group of sympathizers of the MPP, various leaders of the various local administration levels of the MPP. They converged here amid singing and dancing, saying that this is what they want. They want a centralized voting system. They say that they are aware of how some leaders of the party have been compromised ahead of the election. So because they are compromised, if the election is further decentralized, it means that the monitoring, the evaluation of the entire exercise is likely to be impaired. And they want all the delegates, the 900 delegates, to converge at a point where it will be easy for all 10 aspirants to engage with them before they are voted for to select the 5. Essentially, that is what is happening here, Alfred.
I see. But have you seen all 10 presidential hopefuls, as flag bearer hopefuls, at this said meeting?
No, Alfred, we've not spotted all 10 of them, but some aspirants have been spotted already because of the presence of the military. It is assumed that the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, is here. Also, some other aspirants in the meeting currently ongoing. Kofi Konadu Apreku, we understand, is in the meeting. Kojo Poku and Safa Poku also is in the meeting, as well as a few other aspirants. We cannot say for certain whether all 10 of them are here or not, but some have been spotted. So about close to 5 of them have been spotted. Adynimo is also here. So Adynimo, Kojo Poku, Safa, Kofi Konadu Apreku is here. Dr. Bawumia, we understand it. So after that is what is going on here at the moment, Alfred.
And these supporters or the polling station agents are still there?
At the moment, they just left. So
I see.
Hopefully, because we understand the meeting is going to go a little deeper into the night, so maybe they're going to refresh, get something to it, and then come back to press on their demands. We're not certain whether the leadership of the party or the steering committee has seen them or has heard them. So maybe they will come back when they take information that the meeting is about ending, and then they are hopeful that their demonstration, if you like, of their displeasure against the decentralized system will reach the executives in the meeting, and that could influence their decision whether or not to have a centralized or decentralized system.
Noble, thank you. Appreciate it. Noble Cosbianan giving us updates of what's happening at the meeting venue where 9 out of the 10 presidential hopefuls seeking to lead the NPP into the 2024 elections as its flag bearer have petitioned the party's leadership to centralize the August 26th Special Delegates Congress, while the 9 say plans to hold the election on a regional basis will not sit well with the party. The only candidate who is not in support is the vice president. They argue that the decentralization of this Special Delegates Congress of only 900 voters will not be a wise decision. They are therefore urging the party to allow all 900 delegates to converge at one venue for the polls. But from what is being reported, Dr. Bawumia is the one who is not in support of this proposal for all 900 to be at one venue. There's that indication that he supports the elections to be done on a regional basis. All 900 of them should vote wherever they are in all 16 regions across the country. Now, the MPP will on August 26th cut down the list of its presidential aspirants from 10 to 5 as stipulated in the constitution of the party. Meanwhile, the NPP says it is compiling a new register for its August 26th Special Delegates Congress. In fact, on that, we just got some information as well from Justin Kodia Frimpong, the General Secretary of the NPP. The party says a new register will be needed for the period since some of the delegates had passed on. And General Secretary of the party, Justin Kodia Frimpong, says a new register will be out by the end of the week. is quoted as saying they're in the final stages of doing the compilation. Basically, they are not going to exceed 1,000. So between 900 and 1,000 delegates will form the Special Electoral College. And some of the founding members have died. So they have to take their names out and also have to look at past national officers. So there's some surety that before the end of the week, they should have the final list for the special delegates elections. Meanwhile, the National Executive Council has directed all regional executives of the party to stop charging parliamentary aspirants unapproved fees. A statement signed by himself, Justin Kodia-Frimpong, indicated that though the intention of the regional executives may be positive, it is only the national executives of the party that can direct such charges, and therefore called on them to cease such charges with immediate effect. So that's what's happening in the New Patriotic Party. So live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, and talk about issues with the unapproved fees and matters arising. The National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, is also calling on the Ghana Education Service to reinstate the headmistress of the West African Senior High School, WAS, without delay. At a news conference in Accra, President Nagrat Enjukabonu said the removal of WAS headmistress was unfair. We'll get into that because it was also, according to the GES, that decision was taken on the basis of some unapproved fees being charged by the said headmistress of the West African Senior High School. That has generated a lot of reactions amongst the teacher unions. And Parliament's Public Accounts Committee plans to demand answers from the Attorney General on actions taken against agencies and individuals referred for investigation and prosecution. Our chairman, James Klucha-Veji, claims the offences recur due to the absence of sanctions against such agencies. Some agencies and institutions under the Communications Ministry have been answering questions before the Public Accounts Committee on their 2020 financial statement and operations. The institutions that appeared before the committee are Ghana Post, Data Protection Commission, Ghana Courier and Postal Services, and the Accra Digital Center. From indication in payment vouchers, tenancy agreement, and some losses, the committee has recommended to these institutions to regularize their financial systems and operations. Chairman of the committee, James Klucha-Veji, says they will demand answers from the Attorney General on actions taken against these institutions.
The agency should continue to chase and refund the money. We'll do that recommendation. But if we think that that is not sufficient, there is something they should do more, either to take a police action or that, we'll do that recommendation. So we recommend, if there is a need for Mr. A or B to be prosecuted, we recommend to the Attorney General that prosecute this man in court. It is not left for the Attorney General to take action against that person. If it is to recover money, to recover that money. If it is to imprison the person, to do that. If it is a sanction in terms of a fine, penalty, to do that. It is for the Attorney General to do. Now, since 2020, we have started recommending people to the Attorney General for prosecution. This year, getting to the end of the year, we are going to call the Attorney General to tell the committee what actions he has taken on all the recommendations that we have started to do that. It is for the Attorney General to do. Now, since 2020, we have started recommending people to the Attorney General for prosecution. This year, getting to the end of the year, we are going to call the Attorney General to tell the committee what actions he has taken on all the recommendations that we have made to him.
Well, that's James Klucha-Veji there. So live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're live as well on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, and also on W93.5 and Y and beyond. We'll come back to Parliament shortly, but there is some reaction amongst the teacher unions in this country because the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, has called on the Ghana Education Service to reinstate the headmistress of the West African Senior High School, WAS, Shine Ofori, without delay. At a news conference in Accra, President of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, Enjukabonu, said the removal of the West African Senior High School's headmistress was unfair.
Running a school is not only feeding in the school. Recurrent expenditure such as repairs, broken tables, replacement of mosquito nets, the purchase of detergents in our washrooms and so on and so forth are all expenses that the schools will have to undertake on regular basis. And these contributions are money sometimes parents come together to contribute so that the schools get running. The purchase of A4 sheets, the running of those A4 sheets by way of printing questions and answer sheets. And when these resources are not forthcoming from government and the parents want their students to be well prepared before the exams, the parents are encouraged to make contributions. The head of school exposes the problems to the parents and the parents are engineered to make contributions. That is even what is keeping most of the schools running up to today. And I think these heads of schools should be encouraged and congratulated for keeping the schools running in an atmosphere of lack of resources. In the case of West Africa Senior High School, it is parents themselves, through the ingenuity of the president of the PTE, that identify problems in the school and then they decide to levy themselves. The only problem for the investigation that I have carried is that it is the assistant headmaster who gave his Momo number to be the conduit through which the monies are paid. The investigation should rather go into what is the money collected used for. If it's for the purpose to enhance the education of the student, it tells you that there is government supply deficit that created the vacuum for the need for these monies to be collected to fill that deficit. So the Ghana Education Service, the Ministry of Education, and the government should look into itself, investigate properly, and see whether we are running the senior high schools the way they are supposed to. We are calling for the reinstatement of the headmistress of West Africa Secondary School because the problem is bigger than the incident that occurred in West Africa Senior High School.
Well, so that's Angel Kabono there, talking about the bigger problem than what happened at WAS. Just to recall, the Ghana Education Service has interdicted the headmistress of the West African Senior High School, WAS, Dr. Shine Agatha Ofori, over allegations of unauthorized money collection from students, and that's what Angel Kabono has been explaining reason why that was done. And another concern the GES raised was that the monies were paid into the mobile money account of the assistant headmaster, and that was an issue as well. So we have a press release dated July 19. The GES stated that Dr. Shanofori was being directed to hand over the administration of the school to the Greater Accra Regional Director of Education while the matter is being investigated. If you go on our Facebook page right now, we're going to put the copy of the press release as we have it on that Facebook page at 3FM927. This interdiction will remain in effect until the final determination of the case by the GES management. Press release signed by the GS head of Public Relations Unit, Cassandra Chumampofo, outlines the seriousness with which the matter is being treated. And Dr. Peter Patianti is the director of the Institute for Education Studies, IFES, one of the foremost civil society organizations in the education space on the continent. Thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Edition. First off, if you listen to Angel Kabono, he makes the point that it was out of the challenges that the West African Senior High School was faced with that the headmistress, together with the leadership, came together to find a solution to, and now she's being punished for it. What's your take?
Thank you and good evening. Yes, I think that we have to look at this issue from two perspectives. One, the action that is being undertaken by the headmistress, and two, whether that action is right, legally right, or it's supposed to solve a problem. So we know that when we started a few years ago, there have been a lot of directives to headmasters, some who were interdicted and so on and so forth, because they flouted that particular directive of not taking any money from the students. And that has been the consistent call from the Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Education. Now, that particular directive does not respect the fact that the schools are going through challenges. It doesn't respect the fact that the resources that are supposed to go through the schools are not going. It does not. All that they want to establish is that do not take money from anybody. And that is why I think that if you are running the school and you are facing challenges, and the only way you can solve that challenge is to flout a directive from your employer, then you first have to put that directive out there in the public domain for everybody to, you first have to put the problem in the public domain for everybody to know what you are going through. And then you might want to, I know this is on an unpopular position, but you might want to resign so that you let them appreciate that this is the enormity of the challenge, and there's no way I can help it, because the very moment you flout the challenge, the directive, DES and Ministry of Education will come after you, just like has happened to the headmistress of WAS. And so that is how I want us to look at it, because if we are looking at the motive behind the decision by the headmistress, it's right, and that is why the president of NAGRAS is serious, because the schools are going through challenges. Okay, but why is it that the schools that are going through challenges are not able to come out and let the public know the challenges that they are going through? There have been instances where media men, researchers like myself, my institution, IFS, and others have gone to some of these schools, asking them to come out with the challenges that they are going through, and they refuse to talk. But when you find ways and means, innovative ways and means to solve the problem, your employer will say that you are collecting money illegally, and they would interdict you and publicly embarrass you by doing something that is supposed to help the student. They will publicly embarrass you, as they've done to the headmistress. So I think that the leadership, the authorities in these various secondary schools should think about maybe resigning en masse or en bloc, or coming out to share their problems with the general public. I think that is the only way they will be able to find solutions to the challenges that they are going through.
Well, you talk about your proposal being unpopular or unconventional, and that's exactly how it sounds like. But I see the end objective of what you're trying to push. In this instance, for you would have rather the WAS headmistress comes out to the public or speak to the media that, you know what, the children are not being fed. These are the challenges, so I cannot run the school anymore. It should be shut down, like what happened in Binduri Senior High School. Then what?
Exactly. There are so many ways you can do this to be able to get the public attention to your institution without even exposing yourself that you are behind it.
But what's the problem with being taking matters into her own hands? She's the headmistress, so her ingenuity is rather being punished now. They attempt to find solution to a problem which clearly government cannot solve immediately, because from what we understand, this problem that she, together with the leadership of WAS, were trying to solve has been persisting for quite a while.
Yes, but in the minds of the managers of education, you don't solve a problem by flouting their rules. You don't solve a problem by disobeying the regulations that they have given you. You don't solve a problem by doing what they think is illegal, and that is why they are coming after her. So the only way that she would have been spared this public embarrassment would have been to go like what Binduri is doing. I don't have food. There's no way I can run the school, so I will close it down. And some of the schools normally push this out. Or maybe you just have to sit aloof and look at, but that you cannot do. So you just have to find ways and means to get your problem to the public domain without even exposing yourself. And this, I know, a lot of you in the media would have been so helpful to that particular cause. So what I'm saying is that this should be a warning to other heads of secondary schools, that when they want to solve the problems, which we all know and we appreciate that they are using innovative ways to solve, they should make sure that they do not flout the rules, because if they do, they will be embarrassed publicly. They should find ways and means to put the problem in the public domain for the people in Ghana to know that this is what is going on in their schools. And when it happens that way, and any authority would want to come after you, you will know how the people of Ghana would support the cause that you are choosing. But when you go the illegal way by collecting money, no matter how genuine your intentions are, the employer will come after you and embarrass you in the public domain.
You might want to call the ingenuity or creative ways of these heads of senior high schools as illegal, but they are also looking at, just as you're looking at the end objective for them.
Alfred, unfortunately, I'm not the one doing that.
Well,
it
I mean,
the employer
the employer.
That action is illegal.
Fair. That's fair. And you're right. I mean, as the employer is saying that the ingenuity and creativity of heads of senior high schools to solve problems they are faced with, which the employer cannot solve, is illegal. How about how the children are also going to benefit from some of these creative, ingenious ways that these heads of schools employ? They are thinking about their children. I mean, they are the head teachers. So the best and the well-being of the children is their utmost concern and priority. How about that?
Alfred, I understand. And in law, they tell you that they look at the motive and they look at the action, right? That is what they do in our law courts. Unfortunately, in the minds of the Ministry of Education, Ghana Education Service, they don't look at the motive. They look at the action. So in order to save yourself all these public embarrassment, you know what this means to the headmistress? That you are taking illegal fees, you are extorting money from parents. This is public embarrassment. But you are doing that to solve a problem. And that is why I'm saying that when your employer is not looking at the motive, but is only looking at the action and is not looking at the end result of what you were trying to do, and maybe sometimes even pat you at the back and say that, look, this is a very innovative way you are using to solve a problem, but you should have done it this way. You should have written to us, or you should have seek permission. They don't look at all that. All that they care about is that you are taking money from parents, and because of that, you are doing something illegal and you are interdicted. You have to also protect yourself, and that is why I'm telling headmasters that when you are faced with challenges, do not go by the process of asking parents to pay money. Put your problem in the public domain. Find ways and means to get pictures out. Find ways and means to get videos out. Let the general public feel the challenge that you are going through, the things that keeps you awake at night. Let the general public, let the people of Ghana see and feel it. And when that happens, the people of Ghana will come and support you to solve that particular problem.
Dr. Petantia, thank you. Thank you so much for your thought. Appreciate it. He is the Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies, IFS, Dr. Peter Anti there. And if you just joined us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, the Ghana Education Service has interdicted the headmistress of the West African Senior High School, WAS, Dr. Shine Agatha Ofori, over allegations of unauthorized money collection from students. And in a July 19 press release, the GES stated that Dr. Ofori has been directed to hand over the administration of the school to the Greater Accra Regional Director of Education while the matter is being investigated. This interdiction will remain in effect until the final determination of the case by the GES management. The press release signed by the GES Head of Public Relations, Cassandra Chum Ampofo, outlines the seriousness with which the matter is being treated, and what we've heard from Angel Kaponu, which we just played the voice to you, that the headmistress and the leadership of the school were only trying their own creative ways to solve the problems that the students are faced with, because they've been waiting on government to give them money to address these problems that the students are faced with, and now they are being punished for their ingenuity, and that's what NAGRAT is not happy about, and they want her reinstated immediately. We'll see how that plays out. But 25 minutes to the top of the hour, 6 p.m. on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We have some information coming through right now. And here on Hot Edition, we've been monitoring this quite closely. We have some confirmation to this effect. The latest on the leaked tape with the plot to oust the Inspector General of Police. The National Intelligence Bureau has reportedly apprehended the personal aide to Bugri Nabu, the former Northern Regional Chairman of the MPP. Bugri Nabu told Kumasi-based Oyerepa FM that his personal aide, one SK, and his receptionist, name given only as Ikuya, left work as usual in the morning. However, upon arriving at his office and not finding them there, he grew concerned and tried to reach them. Later, he received information that both SK and Ekuya were taken to the BNI office. The MPP stalwart said, quote, "I don't know their whereabouts, but I'm getting information that they are in the BNI, that's now NIB, the Kaukudi Junction." Bugri Nabo expressed his intention to visit the NIB office along with his lawyers to ascertain the reason behind the arrest of his aide, SK, and Ekuya, the receptionist. The arrest, he believes, is linked to a leaked audio in which voices are heard conspiring against the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufo-Dampare. The situation remains under investigation and further details are yet to emerge. So that's the information we're having right now. The latest coming through with respect to the investigations on this leaked audio tape with a plot allegedly to oust the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufo-Dampare. Let's get into some more stories. And earlier, there were reports of some ministers criticizing Kennedy Ohinie-Agyapong for his comments on his campaign trail, and the specifics have been reference to the Western Regional Minister who took a swipe at Kennedy Ohinie-Agyapong, describing him as being greedy. Now, there's a statement from Kennedy Ohinie-Agyapong's campaign team responding to the attacks on, as has been headlined, straight talking Kennedy Agyapong. It says, despite, quote, being a leading member of the ruling NPP government, straight talking Kennedy Agyapong would not be running to lead the NPP next as its government if he did not believe he could do better on the economy than what we have done so far. Those who do not believe they can do better should exit the race. Continues, quote, while the COVID-19 pandemic and the Ukraine war impacted the economy and the crisis that was brought upon it in most African countries, including Ghana, our business as usual approach to managing our economy informs us that we have not learned our lessons and are therefore prone to future external shocks to our economy. Informed by this reality, straight talking Kennedy Agyapong offers a different business-like approach to managing the economy based upon a better leveraging of Ghana's own resources, domestic and overseas. 3. Regarding Kennedy Agyapong's previous endorsement of Vice President and his recent criticism, it only shows that he will consistently be truthful and honest with his assessment of others and give praise or criticism when and where they are due. On Honorable Kobio Tredako Mensah's attack, as for the quote, infantile assertion of Kennedy Agyapong holding multiple responsibilities and benefiting from this government and contracts, going through a competitive bidding process to win government contracts is better than allegedly engaging in illegal mining and being hospitalized from the effect of a driver absconding with his resulting ill-gotten monies. That's Kennedy Agyapong's team responding directly to the Western Regional Minister, Kobe Ochre-Dakon. Now, quote, if holding multiple responsibilities is bad, the Takoradi MP should leave his regional minister position for someone else and concentrate on being an MP. 3. Kennedy Agyapong keeps on the proceeds in Ghana to open businesses that employ the youth. If all winners of government contracts did the same, Ghana's youth would find jobs. That's how they conclude with this. And Professor Smart Sapong, a political analyst, joining us on the telephone. Prof, clearly, it's a lot more heated reactions with this campaign trail as expected, it is not?
Yeah, everything to yourself and to our cherished listeners is expected. And like this, for me, is professional. Something like this is better than perhaps the raw type, the more of insulting type. So this one, for example, I don't see anywhere. It's a professional response, which I think should bring finality to those chain of accusations. I think the party chair and the general secretary have indicated to all aspirants to try as much as possible to go for a very clean campaign. So yes, let's say what has come to pass, we would all allow sleeping dogs to and see going forward if they can turn on a different direction. For me, there are a lot of things they can say if they want to do clean campaign other than going after one another.
Well, he's responding directly to attacks on his person. I mean, if a regional minister calls him greedy because he's benefited from this government and contracts, definitely he has a right to respond, and also in equal measure, is it not?
Yes, so that's why I have a lot of, I agree with this level of response to the various issues is put together, and then the appropriate responses he has given. I think this response is not an attack, it is not a counter-attack, it is not an insult. It is a direct response to the host of accusations that have gone at his person. So I think the one who accused and the response that has should give alleged, and the response that has come should bring finality to that line of campaign. Alfred, they really want to campaign. It is in three folds at this stage. At this stage, they must trumpet strongly their relationship with the grassroots and how well they have lived with the people at the base. You want them to vote for you, all right? So the first thing you tell them is reminding them of how well you've lived with them. If all aspirants have a message in this line, I'm not sure they would have enough time to attack one another. The second thing we expect them saying when they go to the people is what form of leadership style they bring on board. There's been a lot of leaders from His Excellency John Rawlings in the Fourth Republic to John Ejekum Kufuor to Mills to John Dramani Mahama and Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. These aspirants have seen and monitored closely these past leaders. Wherever they went wrong, to be telling us and how they would do things differently. What are they going to do to better the loss of the people of Ghana and even their party people? What type of leadership style are they bringing on board? I think these things should dominate. And then the last thing that should dominate in their campaign message should be plans they have for the party people themselves.
Okay.
As it is now, Alfred, a lot of party people are not too happy with the way the party has lived with.
And finally, very quickly, we are hearing that 9 out of the 10 flag-bearer hopefuls seeking to lead the party into the 2024 elections have petitioned the party leadership to centralize the Special Delegates Congress on August 26th. The 9 are saying the plans to hold the elections on regional basis will not sit well with the party. The only candidate who is supporting the regional basis for the Special Delegate Congress is Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. What does this tell you? That all 9 are on one position and Dr. Bawumia is on his own on the other side?
Well, that's the beauty of democracy. Dissenting views are as important as views that are in favor of any motion on the table. And I think what leaders do at the steering committee, or I don't know whether it's National Delegates Committee or wherever the petition has gone to, it is their duty now to weigh the positives and negatives and decide. If I was part of the steering committee or to be the deciding person, I would have gone for the position of the majority. At least 9 cannot be wrong and 1 be right. What difference will it make? These are super delegates, MPs, regional chairman, constituency chairman, men of stature, men who have minds of their own. Whether you centralize or you decentralize, I don't think any mode you choose will have an effect on the minds of these men and women who are of stature in the NPP. So, and this number is also very small relatively compared to the November one. This one is just around 800, 900. So if it is in the interest of many, 9 out of 10, that it is centralized, I don't think this should be a very difficult decision for the steering committee. Grant to them their request, let the centralize, so that we take away any suspicions, any mistrust, anything. Because some of these regional chairmen who will be hosting, should we decentralize? have openly declared support for one candidate or the other. How then do they turn around to be fair supervisors of the elections if it is taken to their various regions? So, yeah, I don't think this is a very difficult decision. We wait to see what they will come up with. But if it was me, I would have just centralized it in favor of the majority wish.
Professor Smosapon, appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Editions, a political analyst. Still live on Hot Edition 3FM 92.7, and Eke Mensa Brampa is here with business.
Right.
What's happening?
Alfred, so it's just a countdown to the media budget review slated for Tuesday, July 25, as well as you want to know what's wrong with my neck, and the Bank of Ghana's policy rate, which is going for Monday. But I'm better today. I'm better. Stop laughing, Alfred.
No, I mean there are people who are watching on Facebook.
That's why you're asking me what is happening.
And just before someone asks, what's on your neck? What's around your neck?
It's a strain. So the doctors advised that I put this
the collar there.
Yeah, the collar there to support my neck.
Hey.
Yeah.
It's nice.
But it's better. Like, I'm fine. I'm doing perfect. Let's do business. My name is Naniki Mensa Brampa. And the Association of Ghana Industries has called on the government to scrap the COVID-19 Health Recovery Levy ahead of the media budget review on July 25. Amidst the WHO's declaration of the pandemics, and the AGI is questioning the levy's relevance.
We still continue to pay COVID-19 fine. We understand why it was introduced, and we thought that it has served its purpose. We are at that stage where there's no sunset clause on the COVID-19 fund. It is important that they put timeline on this fund, and our expectations are that they terminate the implementation of these COVID-19 funds.
And that was Cholnam Akpelo. He is a Greater Accra chairman of the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI. Meanwhile, economist with the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Alfred Ocansey, among other policy reforms, is expecting government to also scrap the COVID levy and the e-levy. He was speaking on the sidelines of the Deloitte Economic Dialogue, which focused on the upcoming media budget review.
It becomes very difficult for businesses to really survive in such circumstances. A lot of efforts needs to be put in by ensuring that incentives are created, tax incentives are created for these sectors to be able to attract investment into those sectors. Because
I'm expecting that government will look at the VAT decoupling. We should merge the standard VAT rate with the street levies and peg it at below 18%. And then the shortfall, we should close that through greater administrative and compliance, including the e-VAT and the rest of them, and we should empower the GRA and with the necessary political will to do that. Then I'm expecting that the COVID health levy will go. I'm also expecting that e-levy will go. It will make the government unpopular, but that is what it means to listen, because the digital economy is emerging. We need to oil that sector. And the e-levy is not the way to go, because if you put all of that...
Right, so we will bring you that sound later on. Sorry for the loss of sound there with regards to Professor Alfred Ocansey, who is an economist with the University of Ghana. Well, he is reiterating the points made earlier by the Association of Ghana Industries on calls for the scrapping of the COVID levy, and he is also asking for a scrapping of the e-levy. But Director of Research... we'll go back to the issues on the 2023 Deloitte Economic Dialogue, which is saying that the increasing calls for tax reforms prior to the mid-year review has been reiterated, and this time the lead partner at Deloitte Ghana, George Ankoma, has been speaking.
It becomes very difficult for businesses to really survive in such circumstances. A lot of efforts needs to be put in by ensuring that incentives are created, tax incentives are created for these sectors to be able to attract investment into those sectors.
Again, Director of Research at the Institute for Economic Affairs, Dr. John Kwachi, has cautioned government to be guided by the incident of overspending and its impact in the past election year. Speaking at the sidelines of a workshop on the country's 17th IMF bailout, he observed the 2024 election could be a potential threat to Ghana's IMF program.
It's a potential threat. In fact, the IMF itself, if you read the program, they have identified some risks, shocks, external shocks, and then the program. They have identified the program, potential social upheaval. In other words, if the measures bite too much, affect people too much, they may rise up, protest, and then you know that getting to elections, most people, workers and so on, they agitate, they want to take advantage, put pressure on government and so on. So the IMF has identified a number of risks to approve. And one of them, they said, could be the election. And we have seen that during every election, we overspend, we exceed our budget deficits and so on. We cause more inflation, we destabilize the economy, So what I'm seeing is that the program has put the government in a very tight, position.
Director of Research at the Institute of Economic Affairs, Dr. John Kwachi, there. Just before we go, Executive Director of ASEP, Benjamin Boakye, has revealed ECG is only recovering 11.2% of its revenue. The IMF wants government to stop paying for the operational cost in the energy sector and allow tariffs to be used in paying IPPs. This could mean upward tariff adjustment.
ECG itself has to improve efficiency, all right, and be able to collect revenue, be able to sell power and make money, all right. A lot of people are looking for meters, they can't get meters. And this is 21st century, all right? Get a meter. And in some cases, consumers even want to pay for the meter. They are paying Goro boys 4,000, 5,000, and they get swindled. They still don't get the meter. So if you made an arrangement and say the cost of the meter is 1,500, you want to pay for it, and maybe calibrate that into the tariff and say, I'm recovering that, I'll pay you back in power for 3 months. It's better than the person stealing the power. But people want to procure. The reason why they can't supply meters is because of procurement. They want to raise money and then sign their own contract and pad it and then procure the meters. And they are not able to do that, and therefore everybody else is struggling. The government is receiving the bills.
And that was Benjamin Boakye. He's the Executive Director at ASEP. Remember, when you log on to 3news.com, you would get all the updates on expectations ahead of the media budget review, as well as the policy rate expectations from the Bank of Ghana. But that's it for Business on Hot Edition. My name is Nana Ikuya Mensah Brampa. Bill is ready for sports, Bill.
Thank you, Nanekia, and I do like what you have on your neck.
I will remove it for you. You'll be the next in line.
Oh, no,
like
it's not going to happen, please. Thank you very much. Now, it's time for sports here on the Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. My name is Bill Shen, and we are going to start off on the local scene where all 18 Premier League clubs have submitted their match venues ahead of the start of the 2023-24 Ghana Premier League season in September. The clubs have also submitted their alternative match venues in accordance with the club licensing regulations of the Ghana Football Association. Training facilities of all clubs have also been confirmed. Now, in women's football, Black Queens head coach Nora Hoptel has stated that she's only focused on coaching her female team to success amid calls from Ghanaians for her to take on the role of the Black Stars coaching job. Now, Hoptel led the female team to 5 consecutive victories and is yet to concede a goal. Now still moving on, let's turn our attentions to the 2023 Women's World Cup, where New Zealand's Hannah Wilkinson stated she scored the first goal of the tournament as her country recorded a 1-0 victory over Norway in the opening game. Now, New Zealand are on top of Group A with 3 points. Head coach of the side, Jitka Klimnova, stated that she has goosebumps following the victory of New Zealand.
I still have goosebumps. I still have emotions in me. It's we waited for this moment for such a long time, and having this opportunity at home, beating Norway, strong opposition, hearing our fans being behind us, that's just unforgettable moment for me as a coach, and of course for all the players that have been involved and all the people that are actually supporting our team. So incredible feeling.
Now, that was the head coach of New Zealand there. Now, co-host Australia also started on the right foot, beating Republic of Ireland by 1-0, thanks to a penalty from Stephanie Catley. They lead Group B with 3 points, whilst New Zealand also lead Group A with also 3 points. Now, on Friday, Nigeria will be battling Canada in Group B as the Philippines take on Switzerland in Group A. Spain will round up Friday's fixtures against Costa Rica in Group C. Let's move on to club friendlies, where Arsenal defeated the MLS All-Stars by 5-0 during their ongoing USA tour. Now, record signing Declan Rice featured for the Gunners for the first time, and Mikel Arteta, who is the head coach of the side, was pleased with his performance.
I think use him tonight. He's a really versatile player. We can use him in different positions. Within those positions, he gives you the capacity to invert, to occupy different spaces. He's so comfortable on the ball in that phase. And as Gilles got this aggression on the duels and that dynamism that I really like about him. And you saw from the first action, I think on the high press, he won the ball straight away on that duel, and he was ready to go. And he's been that line in the last few days. I think he's glided really well with the team, and I think he's going to be a really important player for us.
That was the head coach of Arsenal, Mikel Arteta. Now, before I do go, Manchester United have named Bruno Fernandes as their new captain of the side ahead of the upcoming season. The Red Devils stripped Harry Maguire of that title last Sunday. Now, Bruno Fernandes first donned the armband nearly 3 years ago against Paris Saint-Germain. The Portuguese led United as captain on 42 occasions out of a possible 62 games last season. That's it for the sports here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Bill and up next is entertainment with Akofa.
Busy on this frequency, 92.7 3FM.
It's midday. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the news here. 3FM 92.7. We're coming to you live from our studio at Tamasami Karahi and Kwa, also live on our
Thank you very much, Bill, for that one. It's time to get into the entertainment news segment here on Hot Edition. My name is Akofa. Cruise advisor at Your Cruise People, Daniel Vanderpoy, has detailed the series of events that led to the invitation of Ghanaian musician Black Sheriff to the police headquarters. In an interview with 3 Entertainment, he lamented how unprofessional Black Sheriff's management has been. However, he says he will not entirely blame the musician.
This is what we did. We involved very notable people to reach out to Black Sheriff's team. All of them, they turned down. Grams Morgan, Grammy Award winner, was in Ghana, reached out to Black Sheriff's manager, Aubrey. Nothing came out of this. Baba Sadiq, who has a very good relationship with them, we involved him. Nothing happened out of this. We reported officially this case to the police, and they picked up a phone and called his manager, Aubrey. He said, we were in a meeting, we'll get back to you. Never responded to the police call. I mean, we wrote to the CID and petitioned them that we think that a fraud is being perpetrated here, and for that matter, they must investigate it. If they did not see any merit in the documents that we produced, I don't think that they would have gone to the extent of securing not just a normal arrest warrant, but a court arrest warrant for Black Sheriff.
Understood.
So that's where we are. Well, honestly speaking, we dealt with the Grammy Award winner last year, and it was a seamless process. We dealt with Abrantia Amati Dede, and it was a seamless process. What I have experienced with the management of Black Sheriff.
Fair.
First and foremost, they are very unprofessional. 2, they do not involve the artist in the decisions that they are taking, for which reason the artist doesn't know what is happening around him. Number 3, actions or inactions of theirs is equally binding on the artist. So out here, it may be perceived that it's the artist who has, reneged on his duties and haven't done ABC. But honestly speaking, let me speak for Black Sheriff here. He didn't see the agreement, but he was aware he had to do the video. Who was supposed to push him? It was his management. So if the management didn't push him and he had his time enjoying and doing other things, who do I blame? I blame the artist management. So first and foremost, the buck stops with the artist. However, it is the management that has to sit up and do things properly.
Let's do some more stories now, where Netflix has debuted its first original African animation series, Super Team 4. The 8-part series is set in a futuristic version of Lusaka, Zambia's capital, and tells the story of 4 female teenage superheroes who are on a mission to save their city. Malenga Mulendema, Zambian writer and creator of the series, says that she hopes the series breaks ground for more African stories to be told on platforms like Netflix. The story is similar across the continent. The talent is there and the stories are there, but the opportunities are few and far between. With partnerships with companies like Netflix, we have more chances to create and have the world see your stories. Zambian rapper, singer and songwriter Sampa the Great has also lent her voice to the series, singing the show's theme song. The series will be available in English and Zulu. And right before I go, join the 3 Entertainment team at 6 p.m. on TV3 Ghana's Twitter at TV3_Ghana for a Twitter Spaces conversation on Black Sheriff's alleged arrest. What we know so far. That ends the entertainment news segment here on Hot Edition, powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Zakofa. Thank you for your time, Alfred.
Yeah, so there are more of these cartoonists and animation creators out there.
Yes. They just need a platform, to be able to showcase what they've got.
True.
Yeah.
I know one Ghanaian did one, Koko Anansi story.
Yeah, I think I saw that one too.
He should go on Netflix, I think.
Yeah, it's a bigger conversation that I think it's the networking as well. The people you are networking with, they'll be able to point you into the right direction.
We should create our own streaming platform. Anyway,
I think there are a few. It's just not getting the buzz like that. There are a few out there. Yeah.
Anyway, well, thank you so much for staying with us. There's more news on 3news.com. I am Alfred Ocansey. Have a great evening. The drive continues.
Home is your peace. So keep the kids quiet and engage with our amazing selection of games, toys, and activities. Create a family environment that feels like home.